Hey everybody, before you continue watching the video, make sure you give the channel a like and subscribe. Go and follow us on Instagram. Go and check out all the different social media scenarios. Make sure if you're enjoying the content, go there, like, subscribe, follow, so we can keep putting stuff out. If you've got any questions, leave a comment. All right, make a comment on either of our pages and we'll answer them as soon as we can.
I actually have a question. Sorry, I have a really good question that I thought about it. I hope it's a good question. Well, no pressure here, but I thought about you two guys. Like, and look, when I was in the jiu-jitsu, judo first jiu-jitsu, there was a time I was in a competition and I train a lot with athletes, like guys that are competing constantly.
Yeah.
And so it's a very different regiment than training general public. I have this conversation with Anton a lot. I would like to know your view, Sam. Like, you came from like early sports, like competitive, like a little bit more serious.
Yeah, high level
athletes. And I was just wondering how you feel. Do you just see a difference? Like, for example, what I found is that we push harder. We are more accountable. We can listen criticism, in a different manner. We take
not be offended.
We take it as a constructive all the time. We want to improve because anything that someone can give any advice, we take it. Yep. You know what I mean? We put it. And the general public is a little bit different. You say them something, instead of they will think, oh, why he's saying that? Oh, he thinks they already put in like, no, I'm saying because I want you to improve. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it comes back to competition. Like, for me, it's not that I was ever in competition with, my brothers or everyone else around me. It's more you're in competition with yourself. I just always wanted to be, the best whatever I could be. Yeah, like whether it was soccer, football, we rode horses and everything. You just wanted to be the best at like you could possibly be. So when I came into jiu-jitsu, obviously I'd come from like quite a competitive background where you are going up against someone all the time, and I never loved that. Yeah. Like, that's what I don't like about rugby league and stuff. Like, I'm out there just trying to be the best I can be. Yeah. But, you've got 13 other players that you're up against, so it is a competition. When I came into jiu-jitsu, I was just competing with myself. So there's no point me taking a backward step if someone, says, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, you're too spaz, you need to calm down, you know what I mean? Yeah. So coming from a development like I had in competition, it's always just been a competition with myself in the end. So I mean, that's how I approach jiu-jitsu now.
Yeah, I think that's look, everybody wants to win, everybody wants to do well in whatever they're doing, and I think the mental side of things is always something that's kind of overlooked. I try to talk about a lot to do with concepts in the techniques and also just the mental kind of approach to like you're saying about focusing on yourself rather than external things. Like, when you focus on external things, it always leads you in a way that it's very chaotic, because you're not focusing on your own improvement. You're actually placing your fulfillment of improvement or whatever in something external that you have no control over. And when you do that, things go great. Like, things happen. Sometimes you're going to be super happy because you beat that person or you did whatever you had set out to go do, and sometimes you're going to be super upset because the goal that you set wasn't achievable, or the person that you thought you were going to beat you didn't beat, or whatever, right? And I also believe in what you're saying. Like, if you can set internal goals or internal challenges, that's always going to be a much better way to approach whatever you're doing, right? And normally the type of goal people set is an external one. It's always like, I want to beat the instructor, I want to beat everybody in the class, I don't want to tap to all these people, blah 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 blah. But if you set like an internal goal, like, all right, I want to try one sweep, I want to try one submission, I want to blah 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 blah, which doesn't involve the other person at all, you just feel better about everything and better about training because you're actually improving.
Yeah.
And that's the crazy thing. Like it's the mental component of being an athlete, or the mental component of being a competitor or whatever, or even just a human being, is something that most people don't ever like dive into. Everyone always looks externally for whatever's going to make them better, whatever's going to fix their problem, whatever, like, oh, where is it? I'm looking for this thing. The problem is it doesn't exist out there. It only exists here. So you have to actually be introspective most of the time to have any type of improvement. To have any goal setting and achieving, you need to look inward and go like, all right, what can I do? What do I need to do to focus on myself and improve myself rather than looking for it somewhere else?
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
And I think that this is the biggest accountability that people don't understand what accountability is like. But for you to improve anything in life, if you're like thinking about your own progression, how you can do to get better, that's being accountable. People think about accountability, just think like, oh, it was my fault, sorry. That's just one part of accountability. But like, as soon as you go inwards and you think about, well, I'm trying to achieve this, or why, then you're gonna have a report of why it didn't happen. Then you can try next time and you can improve. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and that's the thing with external goals, and there's always an external excuse.
100%,
they were better than me that day.
I didn't train well.
Yeah. Whereas if it's internal and you're like, you might have a marker of like, oh, that was a really good role against a really good person, but at the same time, it's like, well, what did I do right?
Yeah.
In my goals and in my role, rather than what did they do wrong?
Yeah.
Because the wins are yours. And also the losses are yours too. You have to own up to both.
And I think this is the difference in the perspective is like, true accountability is understanding that you're responsible for everything that happens in your life, no matter how horrible, no matter how catastrophic, no matter how disastrous, no matter how amazing and victorious. You're the one responsible to, you know what I mean? Like, all right, maybe there's 5% outcome that you can't control, but the other 95%, that's all you, man.
Yeah.
That's all you as an individual. And I think people don't give themselves that power. What they choose to do instead is to relinquish all of that control and power and say, oh, it's something else. Mm-hmm. I put and it can be whatever. It could be, I put my power in God, I put my power in blah, 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 I put my power in being this and this and this, whatever. Most people pick certain like ideologies, whatever. This is what I believe. I put all my responsibility on that belief, on this thing or whatever. And the problem with doing that is you remove all responsibility, but you also remove all responsibility of the good things.
Yeah, exactly.
And the bad things. The problem is like, you don't enjoy the good things as much anymore, and you don't learn from the bad things. And this is the problem with people's like approach to most things, I believe. I might be wrong, but in my opinion, I think most people relinquish all their own responsibility and accountability to something external like you're talking about, and now they have no control over the outcome of their life, and then they sit there and complain and go, oh, you know what, I'm not improving. Well, who's the one in control of it?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, when you do take ownership of everything, that 5% that you can't control, you still control how you react to that 5%.
How you behave, 100%.
It's very minimal of things that are external causes of stuff. So, you've got to learn to adapt and live with it as well.
Absolutely. I think that's a really important point to kind of highlight, because it's so common, and even me, to complain about certain things and be unhappy with things. But wait a second, who's the one that's in control of the things you're not happy with? Yeah.
Sam.
Thanks for watching the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you give it a like, subscribe, and a follow. Check out all our different social media platforms. There's heaps of content coming out. There's different snippets and content on different platforms. So make sure you're on everything. And again, if it helped you out, recommend to somebody else, and hopefully it'll help them out too.